Welcome to Goblin-Inc. My name is Spade. I think you all saw how powerful the build is. The thing about this build is that it's incredibly cheap to build. It requires no Ubers, and the items for this build are not items that are part of the Doomstorm build, which is very expensive now because everyone is playing it. The items for this build are going to be extremely cheap, besides the boots, which are wild hard. How does the build work? Why can I spam my Debilitating Roar like that? We are getting the Bold Chieftain Choker, which gives us 3-second shout cooldown reduction, and this will work twice on Debilitating Roar when it's procced from Fleshrender. So when you cast your skill from the Fleshrender, it will get all the tags of the skill, and pretty much will double dip this aspect. That's also why some stuff works as very good damage boost for Fleshrender. We're gonna talk about that later. But you reset the cooldown of the skill by 6 seconds. So as long as your Debilitating Roar is 6 seconds or less, you have no cooldown on it, and that's your main damage source. As whenever you cast a defensive skill to a poisoned enemy, bam, they get impacted by a massive amount of damage that is multiplied by your will, not once but twice. It's double dipping. And not only you get the 585% from this one, but you also have willpower giving damage to Debilitating Roar, because willpower, of course, is a damage multiplier for Druid. Okay, now let's talk about the build and what you need to have for the build. There is a version of the build which has very little requirements, and pretty much you do that by cheating and using Shaco. By using Shaco, you have a lot of cooldown reduction, the build will get more tanky, and you'll be able to squeeze in a little bit more damage. It will be stronger for pits, but more annoying to play because you have to use Rabies, and Rabies becomes your main method of poisoning. Rabies with no cooldown, by the way, because you play with the aspect for it. And then once the enemies are poisoned, you can re-poison them consistently with the Blood Howl. So that build is gonna be in the planner for people that do not have all the cooldown reduction for this version, but they still have a Shaco. Let's go over the cooldown reduction needed for the build, because like I said, the Debilitating Roar is needed to be 6 seconds or less. We get a lot of defensive skill ranks and Debilitating Roar ranks that lower the cooldown of Debilitating Roar. I think our Debilitating Roar cooldown right now, skill is 15. There's a little trick to get a more cooldown reduction, which is using Hurricane against 2 ranks of your shapeshifting skills to help you guys out. On top of that, I am missing cooldown reduction on my amulet because I'm using a repurposed amulet from my Doomstorm build, my first one, and I just changed one skill. This is the one I was using with the Cataclysm build, and I just rolled the Debilitating Roar cooldown on it instead of what I had, since I have a better amulet for Doomstorm. So I have no cooldown reduction here, guys. I also do not have GA cooldown reduction on Fleshrender, and I'm still perfectly capable of reaching the threshold that I need to for my cooldown reduction without the shapeshifting plus 2 ranks from this one. There is not a specific amount of CDR that you need. You need a mix of ranks and of CDR. Getting a GA, a masterwork on CDR, so you can see how Debilitating Roar has 2 masterwork. It is better to masterwork Debilitating Roar cooldown than the Debilitating Roar rank. That is a fact. It's more cooldown reduction that way. Now that you understand how the basic of the build works, we play with Tempest Roar, which is our main ways of poisoning. If we could use Andariel Visage, this build would become in the next level. I challenge you all to find a way to consistently proc Andariel Visage, and if you can, this build will become incredible. For now, we have to either use the Tempest Roar to poison, which means losing Shaco, and that's really, a big hit. Or losing Andariel, which has attack speed and all stats, and attack speed, wow, it's amazing on it. 40% more damage. Let's go over the rest. So Tempest Roar helps us poison with Hurricane. We have Debilitating Roar, cooldown reduction, and Debilitating Roar ranks on this item. If you can get a GA willpower on top of it, cool. We have Hurricane active. We have gloves, do not need ranks for anything. They need the Edge Master. The most important thing here is the willpower. The chance to stun here is a mistake and doesn't really need that. Hurricane size is better, by the way, guys, and then vulnerable or critical strike damage, both are good. Same thing here as the chest, you want Debilitating Roar cooldown, possibly twice. You want willpower GA if you can have something here that is GA, that's willpower. Shapeshifting skills changes from heal you. This is pretty good without Shaco. With Shaco, I did not need this. And I was actually thinking like why people are running this in this build. Without Shaco, actually, honestly, I made the build better because I play some of the footage you saw is me without playing without 3 glyphs, like no 3 glyphs, non-leveled, 0, not even active. So now, and also some glyph didn't work at all. I had to test some glyphs. We're gonna talk about that. So actually, honestly, 4 of my glyphs were not even active. I actually do not need this now. The build is really tanky without it, even with low HP and full blue gems. I have Wild Heart Hunger. It's my old boots that I'm using. My Fleshrender, the most important thing here is the damage. And if you can get a GA cooldown reduction, that is the most important thing because it will help you out. And then after that, the most important thing is willpower. And technically, you know, if you have enough cooldown reduction, you can masterwork willpower, that item that is the best for damage because it's a 450 roll. Here you have cooldown reduction, most important stat, and crit chance willpower. Mjolnir, I do not have any GA, but getting a Mjolnir with 100% damage, I think is the best thing you can do, rather than chase GA, but willpower GA is powerful and so is crit chance. My Arida, I have a cooldown reduction and willpower GA. I would suggest, see, look at this, 20 seconds. Get yourself one with GA cooldown reduction and have one with willpower if you can. They're very cheap. Only a couple of 200 million I paid for it, I think. But it will cost more when this build comes out, so get it fast. Willpower, of course, it's a massive damage multiplier. In the version with Shaco, the best item to run actually is Hunter's Zenith. It would be more damage than this one. But the thing about the Hunter's Zenith is that it requires more GA to be better. If you do have only 1 GA, then Arida would be better than Shaco. If you play the Shaco version, also you do not need the cooldown reduction for the ultimate. You can just go for straight up willpower. Here, Bold Chieftain on your aspect here, and Cataclysm cooldown is important. And if you do not have enough cooldown reduction, get GA cooldown reduction or cooldown reduction on your amulet. For aspect, I have the Changeling Depth and the Edge Master are the only 2 aspects you use. It's pretty much just a unique build. So incredibly easy to pretty much cap and clear tier 8 like nothing. A good Unsung build, a good Doomstorm build clears tier 8. And then when you have massive gear, you know, it goes up. But this build starts really strong because the gear is really cheap. I'm using attack speed or max life for here because they're both really strong depending if I need more tankiness or more damage. Damage reduction, crit damage, I'm using duration, and I'm using Calm Before the Storm. This one I found to not be consistently reliable enough. We have pretty much 0 lucky hit. I tried to test if I could play Electrocution, but only with Cataclysm I cannot proc Electrocution enough to be worth it. So let's take a look about the talents and then we talk about all the choice for the Paragon that I do not use. Bested Rampage, you pretty much, you know, it's hard to keep up normally, but in this build, nope. Because you spam Blood Howl and Debilitating Roar on cooldown. I suggest you guys watch later on in the video, do a demonstration on how to play the build, and that's gonna help. We have a Quick Shift and we have Heightened Senses max out, Defensive Posture here's max out, Cataclysm, of course, and Venom, of course. We take 3 points in Mending because we spend a lot of time in Werebear, as our main damage source is the Debilitating Roar. I take points for Endless Tempest, I take DR from my Hurricane, Max Rank and Heal from Debi Roar, Attack Speed, Cyclone Armor, I think it's full points, and Earthen Bulwark takes Unstoppable, but not 45 because we do not need that. For here, those 3 points in Digit Great Gate, you can put them in Cyclone Armor if you want to be more tanky, but 12% move speed is pretty nice, as this build is really tanky. Iron Fur, and then I just take a random basic skill. Before we talk about the Paragon board, let's go over how to play this build. So here I am inside here. So by pressing my Hurricane, I'm gonna now poison my enemies. I increase my damage by using Cataclysm. It's always gonna be up, right? You're gonna keep spamming it. Now, I use Blood Owl. As you can see, you'll get the buff, attack speed increased. And then you spam your Debilitating Roar. And you keep spamming your Blood Howl whenever it's off cooldown. Do not worry too much about it. Just keep up your Hurricane and spam your skill whenever they're off. It's pretty much 3 skills. Extremely easy. As you can see, you're hitting for a disgusting amount of millions. Almost 100 millions, I'm not even maxed out. I can probably double the damage of this build, honestly. And this is the first draft of the build. I can now show you how you're gonna play the version maybe with the Shaco. So let's say I take this one, it has the Rabies ranks. I'll do a little bit live swap. After this, we're gonna talk about the Paragon board. So where is the Shaco, Harlequin? I think it's also interesting to show you guys the Hunter Zenith and why I think it's a good item. So this one, and then I have Hunter Zenith. My Hunter Zenith is not correct. Abilities, I'm gonna now switch from this one to Rabies. That's really the only switch I do for this version of the build. So you press Rabies, which will recover its cooldown extremely quickly with Virulent Aspect, and then you can spam your skills. Ah, sorry. There you go. As you can see, also Blood Howl here has no cooldown. You're a lot tankier with this version, and that's pretty much it. And also you do not need as much cooldown reduction, which means you can invest more in damage, right? And it's gonna be better for pits. By the way, when you use Blood Owl, because Blood Owl is a werewolf skill, and it can crit after you poison enemies once, this is gonna reapply poison. You're gonna see the poison go up. Look at that. Look at the poison numbers going up. That's Blood Owl with Toxic Claw. So, on pits or any hard content, that you're playing any hard content, technically this version is simply better, because then you can just reapply poison with this. But the Tempest Roar version is extremely nice when being brain-afk and farming easy content like hordes, etc. So I will have both versions up there and you will decide what you want. And I will keep you guys updated with more and cool updates on this build and see where it can go. I think this build, Doomstorm and Boulder are really the only 3 viable builds for Druid this season. And this build particularly, I think is going to be the strongest build for Druid either next season or the season after. Because I believe Doomstorm is going to get nerfed inevitably as all top builds get nerfed. And this build is right there next. It's better than Tornado, better than Pulverize. It's there. So it will pop. On my Paragon board I have Spirit, I have Fang and Claw, Territorial, I have Survival Instinct with Verbear, I have Keeper, Heightened Malice, I do a reach around, I take the attack speed and the HP there really strong, more attack speed, Guzzler, and I take Undaunted. I do not run a lot of other glyphs, so we can talk about them now for the nerdiest of guys. Electrocution, I cannot upkeep it. I cannot keep up also. Bane does not work, it does not do double damage. I tested it. Automatch does not work because it's poison damage. Protector, actually, running Protector and running Poise, I think would actually work best in the version with Shaco. Which also, there was one more thing about the Shaco build that really makes the build cool in my opinion, which I forgot, and that is T-Bolts. Because we have a lot more cooldown reduction with this version of the build, because of Shaco. So now the duration of Bulwark is actually very low. So this 36% damage reduction and 20% damage is something you can have up all the time. I think this is really strong. And also we have Hunter Zenith instead of Arida, which is, if you have 3 ranks on Kick Shift, is as much damage as the willpower from Arida will give you. But you also have Predatory Instinct and Heightened. Predatory Instinct is 3% crit chance times 9. So it's 27% crit chance for close enemies and a lot of DR from Heightened Senses. So Hunter Zenith, this combination for pits is definitely way stronger. And I'm excited honestly to push pits with this build as well and see how far it goes. So I would say pit push version, less requirements, and then Horde version with Tempest Roar. I will leave you guys those 2 versions. And you can play both, see whichever one you like best. I will leave the same setup, I think. I might change one glyph for the version with T-Bolts, because I could get damage reduction when having a shield. I think could be cool with Poise as well. Guys, thank you for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys on the next one. Tell me what you think about the build.